Here is top Accolade Global News Update. I am Abiodun Mohammed. Rishi Sunak said on Tuesday he was not daunted by the scale of the challenge as he became Britain's third Prime Minister in 2 months, pledging to restore trust, rebuild confidence and lead the country through an economic crisis. The 42-year-old former hedge fund boss, who has only been in elected politics for 7 years, has been tasked with bringing an end to the infighting and feuding at Westminster that has horrified investors and alarmed international allies. Sunak, one of the richest men in parliament, is expected to slash spending to plug an estimated £40 billion hole in public finances created by an economic slowdown, higher borrowing costs and a 6-month program of support for people's energy bills. With his party's popularity in free fall, Sunak will also face growing calls for an election if he moves too far from the policy manifesto that elected the Conservative Party in 2019, when then leader Boris Johnson pledged to invest heavily in the country. A former US military pilot and flight instructor who worked in China was arrested in Australia and faces extradition to the United States, Australian court documents and company records show. Australian Federal Police arrested Daniel Edmund Dugan, aged 54, on Friday in the rural town of Orange in New South Wales, and he appeared in court there on the same day, 2 police sources and his lawyer confirmed. His lawyer appeared by video conference and Dugan was denied bail and taken to the nearby Bathurst jail, 2 of the sources said. Dugan is a former US citizen and the Federal Police were acting on a US request for his arrest ahead of likely formal extradition proceedings, said one of the police sources who was not authorized to speak publicly. Dugan's next court appearance will be in Sydney in November to consider any bail application. Details of the US arrest warrant and the charges he faces are sealed. The arrest came the same week Britain warned dozens of former military pilots to stop working in China or face prosecution on national security grounds under new laws. Australia is also investigating reports some of its former fighter pilots have been approached to work in China. Iran will not remain indifferent if it is proven that its drones are being used by Russia in the Ukraine war, the Iranian foreign minister said on Monday, amid allegations the Islamic Republic has supplied drones to Moscow to attack Ukraine. However, Amir Abdullahian said defense cooperation between Tehran and Moscow will continue. Britain, France and Germany on Friday called for a United Nations probe amid accusations Russia has used Iranian-made drones to attack Ukraine, allegedly violating a UN Security Council resolution. Citing diplomats and officials, pressmen gathered last week that in addition to more drones, Iran had promised to provide Russia with surface-to-surface missiles. The United States is considering sending older Hawk air defense equipment from storage to Ukraine to help it defend against Russian drone and cruise missile attacks, 2 US officials disclosed to pressmen. The Hawk interceptor missiles would be an upgrade to the Stinger missile systems, a smaller, shorter-range air defense system that the United States has already sent to blunt Russia's invasion. The Biden administration would use the Presidential Drawdown Authority (PDA) to transfer the Hawk equipment, which is based on Vietnam-era technology but has been upgraded several times. The PDA allows the United States to transfer defense articles and services from stocks quickly without congressional approval in response to an emergency. Newsmen were unable to determine how many Hawk systems and missiles the United States has available to transfer as the White House declined to comment. The Hawk system is the predecessor to Patriot missile defense system made by Raytheon Technologies, which remains off the table for Ukraine. Five Palestinians, reportedly all gunmen, have been killed in a major Israeli raid against a militant group in the occupied West Bank. A 6th Palestinian was shot dead by Israeli troops who were attacked with stones in a protest against the raid, Palestinian medical sources say. The operation in the northern city of Nablus targeted the recently formed Lions Den group. The group killed an Israeli soldier in a shooting earlier this month. The Israel Defense Forces (IDF) had locked down Nablus for the past 2 weeks amid an intensive search for the killer of 21-year-old Staff Sergeant Ido Baruch. Sergeant Baruch was shot dead in an ambush near an Israeli settlement about 5 miles away. There has been an intensification of violence between Israel and Palestinians in the West Bank in recent weeks amid an ongoing Israeli operation to root out militants following a wave of deadly attacks against Israelis earlier this year. That is the size of top Accolade Global News update. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Tuesday!